Remley and Hurley's state in our textbook that counselors are obliged and mandated to provide a rational informed consent form to prospective clients at their first meeting. Pretty much, prospective clients and clients that actually choose to participate in the counseling sessions have every right to know exactly what they're diving into before they make the choice to pursue it. I selected an informed consent form from an agency called Fountain of Hope LLC that's located in Chesapeake, Virginia, and I compared it to the ACA Code of Ethics and the Virginia Board of Counseling website. Basically, the Virginia Board of Counseling requires that counselors disclose a list of information that includes but is not limited to the goals and risks of counseling, confidentiality agreements, pertinent information where counseling is initiated through the process, and if for some reason referrals are necessary, reports, fees, any kind of costs or insurance requirements, how the appointment is designed, and if there's any kind of tests or diagnoses that are going to be included, to disclose that in the informed consent form as well. It also highlights the importance of the benefits of the service and the purpose for why the client is pursuing it and how those goals can be accomplished. Fountain of Hope does a good job in laying out their informed consent form. It's done so in a way that is not presented as more of an official binding agreement, but it's very easy to read, and it's designed in a way that is like a letter and a conversation. It incorporates the pronouns I and we, which I found very intriguing because understanding and personalizing this informed consent form makes it more appealing to clients in that they're pursuing a relationship with a person and not an actual agency. This also aligns with the Code of Ethics section A.2.c, which covers the developmental and cultural sensitivity of the informed consent. The Fountain of Hope lays out information that is very easy to read. It doesn't use really large words, and it does it in a way that is not just like a checklist, but it's broken up into sections that are easy to understand. In an article that's written by Nemec, Veers, Borey, and Howard in 2017, it references that informed consent forms were initially designed to not only protect the agency from any kind of like malpractice, but the main objective is to protect the participant and their respect for autonomy. Fountain of Hope did an excellent job in singling out the autonomy in terms of the patient themselves. In their goals of counseling section, it does identify that although there could be a number of goals and a number of different outcomes, ultimately the client gets to decide how the counseling session is ran, and they get to choose what the outcome is. The counselor is there to provide support and provide different scenarios and reactions to whatever circumstance is being presented from the client. But ultimately, the counselor is supposed to promote the client's ability and empowerment to make their own choices for themselves. Additionally, Fountain of Hope does reference that there is not a specific type of test or diagnosis, but they do separate like group therapy as well as individualized therapy in their informed consent. This is actually the only informed consent form that I found that went into this amount of depth to it, at least when I did my initial search, because it doesn't necessarily say that you have to participate in group therapy or group sessions, but it does really like encourage it. And I'm assuming that's due to like human interaction and how to incorporate different perspectives into whatever the circumstances are. I did find it rather interesting that the Virginia board requires that, like, specifically it says techniques, procedures, limitations, and potential risks, whereas the Fountain of Hope lays it out in a way that kind of fluffs that. It's very fluid to read, but it also doesn't necessarily say, here's the technique, X, Y, and Z, here's the purpose, X, Y, and Z. It does it in a way that kind of is up to interpretation. So I did find that interesting. But overall, this informed consent form does align with both the ACA Code of Ethics and Virginia Board of Counseling. And I'm interested to see just what kind of outcomes or what kind of like counseling sessions this agency does provide.